Hey everyone, I just want to show you quickly, there's a few shell modifications that need to be done to put our cage in the Stryfe. So I'm going to run through those real quick. It's not too hard. You can use simple tools that I'm sure everyone has at home. So I kind of made some marks here on the cage. And if I grab a screwdriver here, so these walls need to be cut down about 1/8 of an inch, and then this support wall back here, if you can see that, needs to be cut down to the height of this support wall. And then on the other side of the shell, let's see, same thing needs to be done. This needs to be cut down. It's basically right where this angle is. That's where you kind of need to cut down from that point back. And then a real critical one, because our flywheels are larger than obviously the stock Stryfe wheels and any of the other wheels out there, this boss needs to be cut down right here. If you could picture, this is where your flywheel is. This actually interferes with the wheel, so you can still use the screw to screw the shells together. It doesn't impact that at all, but this material does need to be removed. If you don't, your wheel will rub on it and you will probably immediately burn up your motors, which is not a good thing, so let's not do that. So I'm going to run through it real quick. I'm just using a couple pairs of clippers, nothing too fancy. You could use a Dremel tool if you want. Probably would make it a little easier. So what I do, or I've done, is kind of just cut down first. And this doesn't really need to be beautiful because you're actually not gonna really see this at all from the outside of the blaster. So basically just start cutting this material away. Maybe these will work better. And they do. Yeah, I think a Dremel tool is definitely easier, but if you don't have one, use what you got. And then along the way you can kind of test fit the cage. I'm going to show you in a minute. Once you know that you've removed enough material. So just keep snipping. For this side wall, I think you can just cut down the sides along the bosses that are sticking up. On both sides. And then, of course my needle nose are not over here right now. Kind of bend that down. And you can kind of just crack that piece right out of there. So that's simple. Once you have that cut down, let's see if we're far enough. The cage is just going to slip right in. Press it down, kind of look at the front of it, see if it's sitting down all the way, and I'm not. I'm still hitting just a little bit in front. So I'm going to take that down a little further. Sorry for the camera work. I'm not really set up for this, but I wanted to show you guys how to do this because the cut on the other shell is critical. Okay, so let's check it. You can kind of look, see if the cage is sitting down all the way. You'll see right here, this is what I'm talking about with the back shell. You can see how close that wheel is to this boss. So if you can imagine, when you put the other shell on, the boss on the back side is a wider diameter because it goes over this one. So that material needs to be shaved away, otherwise this wheel will rub it and get stuck and bad things will happen. You will plug it in, you will pull the trigger, and it will probably smell. So let's go to the other side real quick. Pull this out. Switch these. So the same thing here. Same thing that you did on the other shell. Cut this away. Cut along this way. You can obviously be a little neater than I am. I'm trying to do this quickly, and I've only done it on one other shell, so I haven't done this a whole lot. So this is your critical part that needs to be cut out of there. I know on the other one that I did used a Dremel tool because it was just real easy to like come in and shave that away, but I'm pretty sure we can make this happen with a regular pair of snips. I'm just gonna kind of cut down the sides and see if I can just cut this material away. That literally might be all we need to do, but you'll know when you put the two halves of the shells together with the cage in there. I'm going to show you how to kind of rotate it, make sure you're not rusty on this boss. So, go a little further. It's okay if you know, you cut through a little bit, little daylight shows through. It's not the end of the world. It'll still work just fine. Okay, so I think we got that cleared away enough. Actually, I'm just going to cut the top of that off flush down to there. Once you have the screw in there, it's not going anywhere. Okay, so let's give this a shot. Let's take the other side. Quickly plop this down on there. Make sure it's seated down all the way. One thing I know I did on my other cage, you don't have to do this, but I did and it doesn't seem to cause any problems, is because our wheels are a larger diameter than the other flywheels out there, the bosses that are on the Stryfe actually need to be a little forgiving. Not very much at all, as you can tell, because it pops right on, but it is kind of maybe pushing the bosses out a little bit. So if you can look down here, you've got these two supports on these two bosses. I know I kind of just made like a relief cut. And again, I don't think that's necessary, but makes everything go together a little easier. So push that in there. Let's grab the other half real quick. Alright, so we are together. So went down far enough. Now, if you look in here, your flywheel, you need to kind of rotate this by hand with like a screwdriver or something. And we are definitely not touching that boss, but this is where it would be rubbing on this boss. So when we trimmed away that material, we gave it enough room, and I can see daylight in between the wheel and that boss, so we have plenty of clearance. So once you do that, I'm going to take this off again, and from there, our cage was designed so that that stock barrel that comes in the Stryfe press fits right into it. It's very snug, it's not going anywhere. So you can put that back in there. Put this whole thing back together. You can use the same screws that you used or that came out of the gun originally. The blaster, sorry. Screw that down. So that didn't take that long, and we are in. You can see if you look down there, you're not going to be able to see with my lighting, but everything is perfectly aligned. When you get the cage, it's going to come just the way you just saw it. It's going to have the motors in it. The wheels will be in, balanced. It's going to be ready to put in. So you'll have to do your switch modifications and your MOSFET or whatever you're running and solder it up, and you're good to go. I'll show you real quick, see if I can shed some light on the inside of the cage. As you can see, there's kind of super tight tolerances in between our wheels. So this is what you will get, minus that, but you can just use that right out of your Stryfe or any other piece of 19mm tubing. So yeah, put that in and you will consistently be shooting much faster than you probably ever have, at least with the single stage cage. Alright, so thanks for watching. I hope everything goes well. You can always message me if you have any issues. Thanks.